Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to One Wing Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna and join me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
It is going. I'm more hyped than I was an hour ago. I'll put it to you
Hmm.
that way. Today was a weird day. I mean, driving around the city of Toronto today, I had to go all over the place today. My neighborhood, fog. Then I drive
Yeah, weird.
downtown and it was all fog on the Humber. I get to the northeast side of town, beautiful, clear, sunny sky. I drive home through, I get down to the fog. I get home, beautiful, clear, sunny sky now. But I go pick my wife up from work. We go back to the same neighborhood I just left an hour ago. It's covered in fog.
Fog. Ooh.
I know, it's bizarre. I've never seen so much thick fog roll around the city like this, though. It's kind of cool for, the day after the Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. I know. I know. Yeah, that's everyone was talking about that. They were saying, a lot of fog, it was great for Halloween. Kind of
Hmm.
sucks for driving right now, but like it's just weird, right? My
Yep.
assumption is just because not assumption, obviously, it's because of the weather. We've been
Yeah,
having okay weather recently, right? So very
I know.
odd. And yeah, no, it's to me, you're in autumn when like 5 o'clock outside starts getting dark.
Yep.
I'm looking out, I'm
Yep.
like, why is it getting so dark outside? Now it's like it's 7 p.m.
Yep.
and it's like pitch black outside.
Oh, just wait till next week. Clocks go back, right? This weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
next week it'll be even darker earlier, right? I'll be out walking in the dark again, so that's good times.
Great.
Anyway, well, it doesn't matter what time it is though. AEW Dynamite always starts at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. It's Wednesday. You know what time it is. Or, no, sorry. You know what that means. You know what time it is.
Yes, it's time for my cup of coffee, my favorite easy chair.
That's right.
Yep, exactly. I know. This joke never gets old for us guys. Just get
No,
used to it. Anyway,
does not.
so we do have an episode of AEW Dynamite. Are you ready to discuss this bad boy tonight?
Let's do it. I'm ready to
Okay.
go.
It is coming to us tonight from Baltimore, Maryland, from, I love this arena name, the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena.
Every time I read it, I read it as cheesecake. I'm like, the cheesecake arena? What is this?
Okay, honestly, that would be awesome. I want the Cheesecake Arena, and I'm going to call it that from now on. The Baltimore, Maryland, coming to us from the Cheesecake
Cheesecake.
Arena. Beautiful. I wonder if they call it that in Baltimore. Like if there's just local, what are they, Baltimore Tonians, Baltimoreans?
Baltimoreans. No, no, maybe not Baltimoreans. That's close to getting that mixed up with something else is calling them. but
Yes.
yeah, who
Yeah, I
knows?
don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe someone from Baltimore can tell us what we're supposed to call you. But anyway,
Hmm.
um, cool. Well, it's coming to us from there anyway, and there's a lot of stuff already announced for tonight's card. I haven't seen anything, no recent add-ons or anything like
Nope,
that.
nothing.
At least an hour before the show. So let's see. First up, we're gonna have that sit down that was announced last week with Renee Paquette. Soraya is going to talk with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah, Renee Paquette, who's just jumped into AEW and has apparently stolen Tony Schiavone's job because she does all of the everything she's doing, right, which is great. I mean, it's different types of people. You have Tony, you have her, and you have Alex Marvez, who's barely used. He was used for the run in when
Mm-hmm.
the Blackpool Combat Club were like locked in the locker room.
Yes.
He's like, oh my god, there's something
Alex
happening
Marvez
backstage.
is back there.
It's
Yeah.
Alex Marvez. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're actually to what's going to happen here because I kind of feel like the whole Renee Paquette thing. I like her as an actual interviewer. Like I listen to her
Hmm.
podcast and stuff like that. But I think her huge claim to fame was when Danielson and or Daniel Bryan at the time and the Miz went off on each other, and
Hmm.
it was so unscripted that no one knew what to do. Like you listen to Danielson's responses in that interview, and it's like
Hmm.
you can tell he was caught off guard by that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very curious, like how AEW does this, because do they let these guys run with whatever? And by guys, I mean Saraya and Britt Baker. Do they let them run with whatever?
Soraya.
Sorry, Saraya. I know. Um, they let them run with whatever. They let them say
Yeah.
whatever they want, or after brawl out, do we kind of like say, hey guys, maybe let's not like do things that might trigger stuff, and let's kind of keep it maybe a bit PG or whatever. But yeah, I'm curious to see what this is. I don't think it's gonna be that exciting, but I don't know. What's your take on it?
So you mean Britt's not going to be mentioning any old WWE backstage videos that were done on camera phones?
I I don't think so.
Okay, that's
After what
good.
MJF's been after what MJF's been saying recently and how he's been saying things, you can tell again Tony Khan's taking control of his back room.
Let's hope. Or I mean, maybe not even just Tony Khan. Maybe there's some, people back there who, have taken on the Undertaker role
Yeah, true.
and have been telling the guys because well, like we said last week, we've said even just a couple days ago, it's just a much more positive vibe back there. So I can't see this
Yes.
degenerating.
No.
So yeah, I think I'll be interested to see what they say because for me, this program's gone cold.
Mhm.
I don't really care about Saraya versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD. They need to make me care again. And right now I don't.
Yep.
So they better come up with something in this that tells me why I should care that Saraya will be going up against Dr. Britt Baker DMD. Why do I care? Tell me, convince me.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, it's like she arrives,
Mm-hmm.
then the next week she's kind of part of like a stable, bringing people out to verse another stable, and then she's away the next week, and I think the away the week after, and then
Yeah.
suddenly she's back again, right? So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. So yes, you're right. Make us care because you're right. We don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I care far more right now about Mayu Iwatani than I do about Saraya. So um anyway, we then have Daddy Ass Billy Gunn's birthday bash with the Acclaimed. There's probably going to be copious amounts of people putting fingers together. I
But
don't
okay,
care.
question. Wasn't Daddy Ass kidnapped by Swerve last week on last week
Oh
Friday?
wait, that's right. He was kidnapped
Yeah.
on Rampage,
So
wasn't he?
yeah, and weren't the Acclaim looking for him? And Keith Lee was kind of like, is he still
We've
missing? Is he
really
getting
gone
back?
full blown sports entertainment with
We
the
have,
Acclaimed, haven't we?
we
Like it's
have.
just this is getting like backstage kit ridiculous. So Swerve kidnapping someone's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he'll go full gangsta on him. We'll never see Daddy Ass again.
He's gone. He's gone.
He's just
Uh,
gone.
yeah, no. Well, it's funny because I like evil Swerve because that's the only Swerve like we should have.
Agreed.
Nice, quite as Swerve said, no, nice Swerve. This is not working. They need to try something else. They keep getting booed by the fans, so they're gonna embrace it. Um, yeah, I'm all in. Listen, I am all in for uh the Acclaim getting beaten up by Swerve and Our Glory again.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I'm curious. You're right. Sports entertainment. I'm curious to see where this kind of goes.
Yeah. You know where I hope it goes? Swerve and Keith Lee winning the titles at
Same,
Full Gear
same.
because they're a much better tag team to keep those belts on. Look, no offense to the Acclaim, but the Acclaimed is really a sports entertainment act at this point, and I'm not. Look, crowd loves them. They're so over. I'm not a real sports entertainment guy unless it's Daniel Garcia in a thing or unless it's like, Jake Hager defending his hat. For me, that's like good sports entertainment because it's small. It doesn't really affect the wrestling. It's just good character. But it's not a
Yeah,
giant, this is your lifestyle segment in the middle of a ring, right? Like that
yeah.
kind of stuff. The only time I think I ever truly enjoyed a segment like that was Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho with
The
the best
list.
friend thing. That was like the only time I think I've ever enjoyed a segment like that. That was just so well done. But you had two masters in the ring for that, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the Acclaimed are not masters of this. Daddy Ass was part of what I'm going to sit here and put on the record as the worst faction in history, except for maybe NWO 2000.
Yeah, I don't we saw their celebration that they
Mm-hmm.
had for their and it was bad. It ran too long and it just kept going and going.
The
And even
fans
though
loved it.
it's true, but it ran so long.
Yeah, it
I
was
was like,
very long.
this was not an elite like promo or anything. This is not Kenny Omega coming with belts. And that's what I was getting at there. You're right. In terms of the Acclaimed are good wrestlers. They're good.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not putting the heavyweight championship on a John Silver right now. Because hey, John Silver is a great wrestler.
Yeah.
He's funny, hilarious, but he's not getting the heavyweight title
Okay.
now, right?
Do you really want to talk hilarious? Did you see Brandon Cutler's match with Dante Martin? this week
No,
on
I did not.
on
No, I did
Elevation.
not. No, I did not.
Check it out. And like you think about it being two high flying guys, but you know what? Brandon Cutler is an even better wrestler than I thought he was. And if you watch this match, we'll talk about it after you've seen it. Watch the match, and we'll have a discussion another time on
All right.
why I
Okay.
think Brandon Cutler is an absolutely phenomenal wrestling talent. Okay. But anyway, to return to this, I've now deviated because, of course, if I get to talk about Brandon Cutler, I'm a happy guy. So, anyway, he's awesome, everybody. So yeah, neither one of us seems particularly excited about Daddy Ass Billy Gunn's birthday with the acclaimed
Yeah.
birthday bash. Enunciate, Bill. Anyway, yeah, we're not that excited about it unless Swerve has continued to kidnap Billy Gunn and he
Agreed.
doesn't show
Agreed.
up to
Continue
his
that.
birthday bash. Then I'm all in. Okay. So then we get into, oh my God, wrestling. Darby Allin taking on Jay Lethal.
Yeah. This match, hopefully as clean as the last one, but we know it's probably not going to be clean because like Lethal has totally embraced the bad guy persona again. But if they do just wrestle each other, Darby coming back for revenge, that's going to be dangerous because remember this guy this guy doesn't care about his body at all. He's the next like Jeff Hardy. This doesn't care. But like it's gonna be a good match. Jay Lethal's a good, really good wrestler.
Yes.
Darby Allin is fun to watch because he's so like you can't you never know what he's gonna do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious how this match is gonna end. Like, remember, Allin won the first one.
Yes.
Does Lethal win this one? Do they have the rubber match, right? Because these guys
Probably.
are good. These guys are really good, right?
Yep.
So and remember, a friend told them what Darby Allin's weakness is.
Right, exactly. And I think that's going to play into this plot, right? We've got
Mhm.
more story than just these two guys fighting each other
Mhm.
now. There's someone from Darby's past that could show up. Who is that and what does he know? So there is a bit of a mystery around this too, right? So yeah, I'm going to go out and say this is probably going to be my match of the night, not
Ooh.
because well, have you looked at the rest of this card?
I did look at the card, and there was one match that I'm gonna
Yeah,
choose as
there's
a match
another
of
one
the
I
night.
think might take it, but I'm going to go with this one because I think there will be less shenanigans. So I think that this one will be more of a pure wrestling match, which is, that's really up my alley, right? So you
Fair
give me
enough.
the pure
Fair
wrestling
enough.
match, one-on-one with good story. It's probably going to take my match of the night if it's well done. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say this will be my match of the night, but that's because also the quality of this card tonight, it's not where it should be, but I have hope this will be one of the greatest dynamites ever.
Ooh, I'm curious. Okay.
So anyway, next up we have the ROH World TV Championship. Samoa Joe taking on Brian Cage.
So remember we said that Brian Cage has been awesome
Mhm.
because he is.
Yes.
And we actually said that match against Wardlow was actually really good. It was a very well done match. I'm very curious at this one because Samoa Joe is not like he is a heavy hitter, but he's I guess I would say a better wrestler than Wardlow is.
100%.
And I just think Brian Cage is phenomenal. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm curious how this match is going to turn out. And there you go. So it's kind of like, does Samoa Joe put on bad matches? I was going to say this again. Does Samoa Joe put on bad matches? Depends who he's with, I guess, right? Brian Cage, again, depends who he's with. But these guys on their own are really good wrestlers. So I'm going to say this is going to be a very good match on the show. But again, not my match of the night.
No, it's not going to be my match of the night either, but I do have hopes that this will be a good match. It could sneak in.
It could.
I think these
Agreed.
guys could put on a match of the night. This is a potential dark horse. Also depends on how they tell the story, the outcome, how much shenanigans there are again, because we got two
Agreed.
stables that are fighting each other. This is Dynamite, right? We're trying to build up to a pay-per-view, so we'll see what happens. I mean, AEW is pretty good at keeping the shenanigans toned down, right? I mean, we're not talking WCW 2000 here, where like every match ended in a DQ or a breakup or something like that. So, like I've told
Very
you
true.
guys, if you guys ever start comparing AEW to WCW, just go back and watch.
Yeah.
We all forget how bad it really was.
That's it, right? That's it. We have this. I'm gonna give a quick example. It's like the Nintendo 64, right? You have that. I don't want to call them beer goggles. That you have those goggles on, right? Where you're like you remember something better than it actually was until you go back and revisit it. I remember this Nintendo 64. We love that system. I still do love that system. But at the time, the graphics, we were like, oh, these are great graphics. If
Mhm.
you were to go back now and look at it, you're like,
They're terrible.
what was I looking at back in the day?
Well,
And it applies to a lot of things like wrestling, especially the
mhm.
Attitude Era was terrible,
Yeah.
but people flocked to that era, right? So that's why I'm like, no, this is not WCW. This is never be
No.
WCW. So
Nostalgia is a powerful drug,
yeah.
right? And sometimes drugs aren't good for you. So, I'm just saying that it's like, listen, I loved Knight Rider and the A-Team when I was young. If I go back and watch some of those episodes now, it's like they're more funny than anything else.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, but I mean, formulaic TV like that, not really my bag anymore. But anyway, we have totally digressed.
We have, as
Um,
usual.
well, that's fine. Then we have a TBS championship match with the number 5 wrestler in the world, Jade Cargill, taking on the wrestler that's better than Chris Statlander, Marina Shafir. Yeah, there was no bitterness or sarcasm in my voice there at all. None.
This match is going to be, I don't, okay. By the looks of it, if you ask me my thoughts just right now, what I think this match is going to be terrible. That's what my thoughts are. We've said, Jade's been getting better. She has been getting better. We have to give credit where credit's due. Maybe not number 5 better, but she's been getting better. Like that pump kick she did on Friday night. Oh my God, I think she killed that girl. Holy cow, right? But Marina Shafir is not that good. She's like, if you took, what's her name? Serena Deeb,
Mm-hmm.
and you made her slow, and you made her botch all her moves, and you just made her not a good wrestler. That's who Marina Shafir is. And you know what? I don't blame Marina Shafir for this. I just think
Serena Deeb with a lobotomy. Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
I just feel like she hasn't been given the chance to develop, and she's getting
100%.
pushed.
Yeah, it
She's
isn't
getting
her fault.
pushed.
She's
No,
been pushed too far, too
yeah,
fast without the skill to do it. Right.
agreed.
She
So
should be in the Miyu Iwatani like first year thing where she loses every match for 11 months. Right. Like, just go out there and get your reps in. Get your reps in on dark. Get your reps in on dark elevation. Go work some indies for a little while. Get your reps in. Get
and
your
then come
reps
back.
in. Get your reps in. Earn your dues. Just because you're Marina Shafir from Ronda Rousey's little horsewomen group or whatever, like, that doesn't make you an instant star, nor should you be pushed as an instant star. You are
Agreed.
not real. Look, I have hopes that one day she will be. I have hopes
Yeah,
that every
same.
wrestler in a wrestling ring will be amazing because no one
Agreed.
does this without some kind of passion for it. Right?
Agreed.
No one.
Agreed.
Jade Cargill included. Look, she's getting better. And hopefully someday I can say, damn, that was a really awesome Jade Cargill match. I enjoyed the hell out of that one. I haven't seen that match yet. I
No,
don't think I'm going to see it tonight.
no.
I don't understand why she's been pushed to the moon when there are better talents that have paid their dues in the AEW locker room.
Yep.
That's what bothers me. Sometimes you're hot-shotting young people who aren't ready to be hot-shotted yet. And I didn't think Jade Cargill was ready. I haven't been proven otherwise. I don't think Toni Storm's an effective champion. I haven't been proven otherwise. By the way, this is the second straight Dynamite she hasn't wrestled.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We talked about that, right? We're like, okay, that's interesting, but she wrestled on dark, which is kind of weird. Anyways, but like,
yeah.
maybe that's where she needs to develop. Anyways, but like for this, you're right. For this match, our expectations are so low that maybe it might turn out to be better than we think, right?
Oh, look at Krishna living in fairyland. Krishna, it's gonna be a train wreck. Accept the facts.
All right,
Facts.
fine,
Train wreck.
fine.
Man, it doesn't mean I look. Like I just said, I hope both these women improve and do really well. I would love to watch a Jade Cargill Marina Shafir match one day and go, man, that was match of the year. If that
Yeah.
ever happens, I will be a very happy guy.
Yeah,
that isn't happening.
We will take
tonight.
everything we say back. We'll say, you know what, we were
Well,
wrong.
no, I won't take it back. I meant it at the time. Right now, they're not good.
That's true.
I'm not going to
They
take
are
that
not
back.
good. They are not good.
I'll be like, you've improved. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Anyway, AEW All-Atlantic Championship match. I have a sneaking feeling what you're going to say about this. Orange Cassidy versus Luchasaurus versus Rey Fenix.
So there's one thing that I've learned that we don't bet against, right? You don't bet against Elite. You don't bet against the Bucks. You don't bet against Kenny Omega. Also, I find it very hard to bet against Rey Fenix. That's one person I find it very, very hard to bet against because this guy is possibly, and I think we've said this, the best high flyer ever, right? And listen, guys, we have Dante Martin and all these other guys, Pac and everyone, but Rey Fenix is probably the best high flyer ever, right? Now incorporate that with Orange Cassidy. Like Orange Cassidy can go, like he is so good, and throw in maybe like the athleticism of a big Luchasaurus, right?
Yeah.
Like this is my match of the night. Like this is the kind of wrestling I
Of
love,
course,
right?
it has lucha things.
They have something even called yeah, Luchasaurus is even in here, right? So
Exactly. The word
so
lucha is in the
the
match
word lucha is literally in this match. So
twice.
here,
Ray
that's
Phoenix
right.
of the Lucha
Of
Brothers
Lucha
taking on
Brothers. Yes. Oh
Luchasaurus,
my goodness.
and Orange
So
Cassidy should really adopt a lucha gimmick for this one.
I yeah, I there's no way that I think that this is gonna be bad. Like this is gonna be the match of the night.
You could be right. This is my 1B. If I'm wrong about Jay Lethal and Darby Allin, this will be my match of the night in all likelihood because you're right. Ray Phoenix is phenomenal. Orange Cassidy is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and
Yep.
Luchasaurus can go. So yeah, this has potential, a lot of potential to be a really fun wrestling match. And
Yep.
that's what I look for, fun wrestling matches of all kinds of styles, including lucha things.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
Yep. Next up, though, we have the ROH World Championship match. Chris Jericho taking on a former ROH champion.
I don't know what to think about this match because like I don't know who he can be taking on. It's either gonna be someone really lame. Again, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be like my thoughts are, what if it's Christopher Daniels, right? The fallen angel, right?
It could
Right?
be. He did tweet about AEW today or
Right?
something, didn't he?
So and he's still part of AEW, so you gotta remember that,
Hmm.
guys. And he was a big part of ROH as well. So this whole match depends on who this opponent is, right?
Right.
It can be good, but it can be bad. So
Hmm.
I don't know what to say. I'm hesitant to even say it's gonna be like maybe top three, just depending on who it is. So I don't know. And also shenanigans. Shenanigan City may happen here. So I don't know what to say about this one. What do you think?
Right. Um, did either of the Young Bucks have the ROH tag team titles at any point?
Did they? The
I
tag team
don't.
titles, no?
Hmm.
They must have had the tag team.
Yeah, and he did say any champions, right? What if he takes on Matt Jackson?
No, you think so? No. Was Kenny Omega ever the
He was
ROH
not.
champion?
No, he was not.
Oh,
He has not been a champion in ROH.
interesting.
Yes, the Young Bucks have been the World Six-Man Tag Team Champions 2 times, with that once with Adam Page, once with Adam Page, and once with Cody. They have been the World Tag Team Champions 3 times. So there you go. The Young Bucks have in fact been Ring of Honor champions, but so has Hangman Adam Page, who though is out with a concussion.
I was gonna say, no way Page is coming back tonight. No way.
Yeah,
Like
so no.
he's too injured.
Yes, but he is a former Ring of Honor champion.
And I would have said you would be 100% right if he wasn't injured. Like if
Yeah.
he had he would definitely be the one
What
coming
what it
out.
means is he may be in Jericho's future.
Yeah, which I'm okay with because
Yep.
Hangman's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, so I have no idea who he's going to be fighting either. Jericho's fun. It won't be a bad match, but I
No.
can't really comment on this match till I know who it is. And I got a feeling it's just going to be random ROH champion number 73 from the past that,
Yeah, and
will get a
that's the
pop because it's
problem.
some guy no one's seen in a while, and we'll all be like, yay, it's that guy. And then he gets his ass kicked by Jericho, and Jericho goes, cool, I want another one. Woo, who's my real
Yeah.
opponent at Ring of Honor at the anyway, yeah, all this is setting up more stuff for Jericho. I don't think it's a really serious match. So yeah, it'll be of interest.
Okay. Okay.
That's about
Interesting.
all I can say.
Okay. Okay.
World Championship Eliminator match. John Moxley taking on Lee
I
Moriarty.
know. I know. I don't know. Like, listen, I'm not the biggest Lee Moriarty fan. I think John Moxley is defending his belt way too much and wrestling way too much right now. Like a potential injury could happen at any time.
Yes.
Um, but I think this is going to be a good showing because Moxley is all about putting guys over, man. So I think this is going to be a good showing for Moriarty. Um, who knows? Maybe this match turns out to be really good, but I don't know. I don't know about this match.
Firm gets involved. MJF comes out, helps them again. I don't know. There's gonna be shenanigans all over the place here. I I'm having trouble caring about this match. Look, I love John Moxley now, seriously. Lee Moriarty's good. They could put on a good show, but
Yeah.
Lee Moriarty is not beating John Moxley.
Nope.
So, like, whatever. It's like the Penta match last week. It's the, do we really think Lee Moriarty stands a chance of the night match, right? It's
Yeah.
just, who cares? I think this is the second week in a row. I'm glad Mox is wrestling. I like John Moxley, but something else is going to happen here, and this better not be the main event. Unless the something else that happens is involved in what Brian Alvarez was talking about this afternoon on Wrestling Observer Live, when he said he has heard from inside AEW that something really big is going to happen on tonight's show. This is not Tony Khan announcing it. He did not have specifics.
Well, it's not a Tony Khan
beyond.
announcement. That's something really big.
I know it's not like that kind of announcement where it's Tony Khan going something big's going to happen, and then like Eric Redbeard comes out or something like that.
Big announcement tonight. We've signed Leo Rush.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thanks.
Even though we were wrong about the one signing that turned out to be the great signing, which was obviously Swerve. But I mean, like,
right. Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
But yes, he said something really big is going to happen tonight. It's got to have something to do with the Elite.
It has to. Well, first of all, there has to be a continuation from the snap from last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a continuation.
Yes.
Like, there's no way just.
I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette killed them all.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. He's pretty much their Thanos, right? So,
yes.
It's funny that. Anyways, he all they can talk about is the fact that Punk is like the greatest straw, and yet now that he's gone, everyone seems happier. But anyways, who cares? No,
we promised not to talk about that anymore yesterday.
Yes, but that can only mean one thing. It can only mean one thing. Something's happening with the Bucks and Omega tonight.
100%. Yep, 100%.
And you're right. This could turn into be the greatest. You know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not hyping myself up.
I'm
not believing
I'm
it.
going to, because I'm going to do what I always do. I am going to put out the Bill guarantee.
All right, let me hear the guarantee.
The guarantee is Kenny Omega is showing up on tonight's show. 100% chance.
100% chance.
100% chance.
Holy naughty. Yep. He's not even going like a 60%.
It's the Bill guarantee.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Kenny Omega is going to be there in some capacity tonight on the show.
That's Kenny Omega, but what about the Bucks? Obviously, you think the Bucks as well.
Oh,
right?
probably them as well. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Elite will show up tonight in some capacity.
That is quite the prediction there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
they're going to NWO the main event.
Beat everyone up. Wow, it's a bold prediction.
They're outside. You're going to see them grab Ray Fenix. They're going to throw him into the side of one of the trailers. And lawn dart him. You remember that?
Oh, the lawn.
When they end, remember Kevin Nash lawn darting Rey Mysterio?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, my prediction was that the whole thing about like Fenix being in this match, this triple threat match, it had to be something with the Bucks coming back, right? Because you get interference potentially, and then you get them challenging Ray Fenix and the Death Triangle, for the belts.
Yep.
But you know,
I kind of want Kenny Omega back in the main event scene, right?
Like he's got it.
That John Moxley match is screaming for someone, to bother it.
Do you remember that when Omega came back and he cut his promo, he said, "Hey guys, I'm going to be doing tags for a little bit. I'm not gonna before I do my solo stuff again. Hey, it's been a couple months, so things can heal in a couple months. So
yeah, it's very nice of them to give him a little more time to heal up there, right?
Yep.
So I'm just saying. But they're the Bill guarantee. You guys are going to see Kenny Omega tonight.
All right, the Bill has guaranteed an Omega sighting tonight. I said it. Yeah, an Omega sighting tonight.
That's right. Omega sighting. I'm guaranteeing it. It's going to happen.
That can change the entire landscape of this show tonight.
Oh yeah, don't forget the House of Black is showing up too somewhere.
Oh my god. Don't. Okay, now you're just taunting me. But you have to figure they're showing up soon.
Yes, they are, and they're showing up tonight. So on paper, this looks like a pretty boring Dynamite. But we're gonna
Yeah.
add the House of Black and the Elite to it, and it's gonna kick ass. So that's
Oh
my
yeah.
that's my
You
prediction.
know what? I'll even go we'll go with that and be like, even if the House of Black shows up right today, I'm gonna be as happy as I would if the Elite showed up too.
Right. Yeah, sure, that's fine. But you'll be even happier because, like I said, 100% Kenny Omega
He
Dynamite tonight.
guaranteed an Omega sighting tonight.
That's
I
right.
can't.
That's
I
right.
this is. I believe we've done this in the past and we were wrong all
Well,
the
I did
time.
it
We
on a solo
guaranteed
show once when I had to do the prediction solo, and I guaranteed Kenny Omega, and I was completely wrong.
until
But
the
we
one night we did when we obviously knew everyone knew Kenny Omega was coming back. We
well, yeah, that's
guaranteed that one,
different. That's different.
right?
No, he's coming back tonight. You watch.
Hmm.
You watch. Brian Alvarez said big things. Right. The only thing that could possibly mean is Kenny Omega.
No, that's
That's it.
trying
Kenny
to hype
Omega.
me up, yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to be like, nope, nope,
Yep.
not
Oh
doing
yeah.
it.
Well, let's go find out, shall we? Let's go
Let's do
find
it.
out if, in fact, the bill guarantee was a spoiler. We will be back.
Let's do this.
Well, let's just say that I was mostly wrong. There was no Kenny Omega appearance on the actual show. We did see Kenny Omega, but I'll be honest, that's not what I meant when I said Kenny Omega is guaranteed to appear tonight. So the bill guarantee is shattered into tiny little fragments, as were my hopes for a really good Dynamite. But I'm just going to say right off the top, Krishna, I am grateful for Dynamites like this one. You know why?
Why is that?
Because it reminds me when we get a really good one to be super grateful we got the really good one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This was an interesting
Yeah.
Dynamite.
It was an interesting Dynamite. There were some moments.
Hmm.
So why don't we get into it?
Let's get into it. Yeah.
Okay. We have Taz, Tony, and Excalibur on commentary as usual, and we start off with Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. Darby's ribs, of course, are all taped up from the attack he suffered under the garage door, and they go right at it on the ramp. I mean, Darby just challenges at Jay Lethal, or charges at Jay Lethal as he comes out. Jay rams his ribs into the apron, though, and I mean, that was largely the thing, right? How much damage can Jay Lethal do to Darby Allin during this match? Darby, when they get back and they finally get in the ring, Darby does this crossbody to Lethal, but his momentum carries him over Lethal and outside. Sanjay and Satnam then show up. Satnam blocks a dive, so Lethal then takes control. The story now shifts entirely to just an underdog Darby that's hurt from the attack last week, getting his butt handed to him and trying to come back. Lethal just applies a figure four under the barricade, mimicking the garage door spot. What kind of bugged me is the ref hadn't even bothered to start counting, comes out and warns him, I might start counting soon if you don't get back in the ring. I'm like, dude, you should have been counting like 20 minutes ago. Lethal does a knee stomp on the apron, followed by a German suplex, then works Darby Allin over on the outside. Offense targeting both the leg and the back. Back in the ring, we get the abdominal stretch, which actually made sense because he was also elbowing Darby in the ribs, right? So, and a suplex that they just called on commentary, the Darby got flattened. Darby then counters the King's elbow into a crucifix for two. We see a little bit of a comeback. He counters a lethal injection with a rear naked choke, then an over the top stunner, still selling his ribs. He climbs the turnbuckle, but Lethal bails, hiding behind Satnam. Darby does a top rope suicide at Satnam Singh and just literally bounces off, like literally
Yeah.
bounces off the guy. The ref then ejects Satnam and Sanjay Dutt. But when the ref is distracted, someone in a Sting coat and makeup that is clearly not Sting smashes Darby with a bat. Lethal pins Darby for three. We'll get to the post match after. What did you think of the match itself?
It didn't have as much interference as I thought it was gonna have. When I saw Sanjay Dutt and what's his name, Sanam Singh. The match itself, like Jay Lethal is really good. He's really good at like attacking a body part and going after it. And I told you Darby Allin was going to be throwing himself at Lethal. So, I mean, for the match itself, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, right? These guys are good. It's just afterwards I was confused. So yeah, the match itself was good, but then when the attack happened, obviously it wasn't Sting. Everyone, even the commentators, like, that's not Sting's body.
Yeah, I
That's
know. He
not
looked
Sting.
nothing like
Nothing like
Sting.
Sting.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed the match until the interference.
Yeah, it was a good match. Remember, I said
Yeah.
this was going to be my match of the night?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the second time tonight the Bill is going to say I was wrong. That did not happen either. I think I had a rough night tonight, Krishna. I had a really rough night. I mean,
Fair enough.
the predictions I did make that came true were like the bad predictions.
Yep.
It's just rough night, man. Rough night. Yeah, it was a rough match for Darby. This wasn't as good as their first match together by any stretch of the imagination. This was a good match. It wasn't great. It was good.
Yep.
And then the interference at the end to win, I was just kind of like, okay, that's fine, whatever. Now, then we get into the post match, and the guy takes off the mask, and it's Cole Carter from the factory. And now I'm thinking, okay, so Brian Alvarez said something big is going to happen. Was it really the Cole Carter reveal to join the factory? And so that's great. They all attack Darby, but then Sting's music plays, and we're all like, okay, so Sting's gonna come up. What I appreciated of this was Jay Lethal was looking up into the rafters,
Yep.
like, oh my
Yep.
God, is he going
He's
to
looking.
drop down? I'm like, that was, I appreciated that little bit there. But anyway, Jeff Jarrett comes in the ring and smashes Darby with his guitar. It's Jeff Jarrett. He's come to AEW. He grabs a mic, and Jeff Jarrett says, Darby Allin, you just got a lesson from the last outlaw. You ask what lesson it is? Whatever you worship, it becomes your weakness. You worship Sting, he becomes your biggest weakness. And now that I have Darby out of the way, I have a message for the AEW roster and every clown in production in the insane, rabid, delusional AEW fan base. My family got into the pro wrestling business in 1946. For over 75 years, wherever we met, we left an impact. Ha ha ha, double he left an impact. Get it? I'm a 2-time Hall of Famer, 12-time world heavyweight champion. My fingerprints and all my relatives' fingerprints have been all over AEW. But before I get done, there will be 4 body bags.
Yeah,
He
he said
either
4 body
said there
bags.
will be a bunch of body bags or 4 body bags.
He
But
said
anyway,
4.
he
He
said
said
you can
4.
choke on that slap nuts.
Yeah. And I love the part where, like, he's listing out his accolades, and the audience starts chanting, "You still suck."
Yeah,
You
you
still
still
suck.
suck.
Like, I really do appreciate the AW fan base, because you know what, they're right. Like, he does suck. Um, it was interesting because, you know, I wasn't surprised seeing how WWE let him go a couple months back. So I was like, oh, here we go again. Now, a few things about this. This may not be as bad as I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like this, like Jeff Jarrett, for what it's worth, like, he does have knowledge of the industry, and he can help some of these young guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, like, I appreciate the fact that Cole Carter is now part of something else, not the factory. Though the factory, I love the factory because they're just freaking hilarious. They are so funny. Like, I just have so much fun with them. But, you know, have a little stable there, because look at this way, Bill, and I know you're not gonna like this. Darby and Sting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Versus Cole Carter, who we barely get to see, and potentially Jeff Jarrett now,
Oh, I
right?
don't
So
mind
you
that at
do have,
all.
right. So there you go. Like, you have young guys getting mentorship from the old, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. So, you know, as much as I dislike Jeff Jarrett, there's one thing I have to say about this entire thing. AEW, I'm gonna say this another time tonight as well. We just got past Hangman Page's incident with that concussion.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you let Jeff Jarrett go into the ring, smash a guitar over Darby Allin's head, and then comments on the fact that Darby Allin's in a pool of blood, because he was in a
Mm-hmm.
pool of blood there. Now, given, who knows, blade job, whatever. Really, guys, we just got past this. Do we really need to do this right
I
now?
did you see the way that guitar exploded?
Yes,
That was balsa wood, dude.
it,
That
it was,
I
it
could
was,
have
but
hit. I could hit your 7-year-old niece with that guitar, and she'd probably just look at me.
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I get it. Like, these things are made to, like, break and stuff like that. And Ray Phoenix takes a little bump I'll talk about later tonight. But, like, do you really need to take the headshots now? Like, is this really
Where else
necessary?
do you break the guitar over someone, though? Right? Do you just hit him in
His
the
back,
back
his
with
back, yeah,
it?
yeah,
Uh, uh,
break out his back.
Pretty
I
spectacular.
know, I know it's the Jarrett thing, but
Yeah. Well,
that's what I'm seeing. I see where this is going, so I'm
if
like,
he
yeah,
hit him
I'm
with a
not.
metal chair, I'd be pretty damn upset right now, right? But I mean, you can really gimmick a guitar. I
You
mean,
can,
he's not
you
going to
can.
get a hit much harder than getting hit with a Nerf bat from that thing. So, is he bleeding from the guitar? If he got a
Who knows?
splinter
Who
from it,
knows?
maybe. I mean, I don't know. But I see what you're saying, though, right? Is there another way they could have done it? I mean, I saw that and just kind of, oh, okay, that's a super gimmicked guitar. I'm kind of okay with that because it exploded. I
It
mean,
did
you know what a
explode. Yeah,
guitar is made
yeah,
out of,
yeah.
right? They don't explode like that unless they're like made to do that, So. I don't know. I really don't think in this day and age, especially after Hangman, they would have done that without knowing that it was
Mm.
fine to go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think they would allow their people to be that unsafe. So, I mean, Darby's nuts, but I don't think he gets the final say,
That's true. That's true.
So yeah. But I'm actually glad Jeff Jarrett's here
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
he's not a main eventer.
No.
And the problem was in some of the promotions he was in, they tried to make him a main eventer, and that's not his thing. He is a great mid card promo. Okay. He showed tonight. He knows how to fire a crowd up against him. He has an attitude about him that people are going to hate. Right. And he's good at that.
Hmm.
He's a great guy to have on the mic
Yep.
for a faction. He's a great guy to put in there like a Sting who can have the occasional match, probably still in decent wrestling shape. He's
Hmm.
not bad in the ring, right? And of course, he was the leader of the silver and black NWO 2000
That's
there for
true.
a while, right? I
That's
mean,
true.
he did book a few of the nitros and stuff when Kevin Nash was absent. So that kind of a pedigree has serving in WCW in that time period. Now we're bringing him in. Wait a second. People were saying that this is turning into WCW, right? And they just brought in Jeff
Jeff
Jarrett.
Jarrett.
Oh my God. Can we expect Bret Hart to join him next as part of NWO 2000? Is that the faction he's bringing? Is that the invasion he's making?
The
Is this what
invasion.
he's talking
Hey,
about when he says he's going against AEW?
it's gonna be interesting.
It will. No, but in all honesty, I think it's pretty great that, he might lead a stable like that of people who are, again, there's this like anti AEW vibe coming
Mm-hmm.
out of this stable, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that because
He's
I'm
he's an
starting
out.
to see,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah. And
outsider coming in again. Like
right.
like
And do you think he dropped the word impact in his promo
no.
unintentionally? Hell no, right? So I think that we've got a very interesting scenario setting up. Like, I like the fact that AEW is kind of taking a page out of New Japan's book and setting up a ton of different factions. And like, people
Agreed.
kind of have to have their group if they're going to survive in the company, right? So I'm enjoying this. Let's see where it goes. I will give it, I'll give it hope. Um,
Yep, and we'll
I
talk
didn't
about
hate it.
some more factions coming up.
That's right. Well, then we get a recap of the MJF stuff from last week, and we get John Moxley in the back, and he's like, AEW Dynamite live. I love that electricity. I can't get enough of it. It's my favorite drug. It's just another night for me, but for Lee, it's the biggest night of his life. He can change his fortunes forever if he gets the job done tonight. All he has to do is rely on his skills, and he has many. But he thinks we snubbed him in the Blackpool Combat Club. We didn't, but me and Danielson decided you're not mean, nasty, or violent enough for the BCC just yet. But we won't leave you out in the cold. We're teachers, so I'll teach you a lesson in pain. I'll put you in a corner where the only way out is through me. So if you have any unrequited anger, angst, or revenge boiling in your body, now would be the time to bring it to the surface. I want you to be mean, nasty, and violent. I ain't got time for anything else.
Yeah, no, this is cool. This was cool. Like John Moxley again, like the fully calling out what they're doing. They're the teachers now. They're just pushing. That's why I said that. It's just look at these young guys getting a chance to go on to like the main card and fight like the
Mm-hmm.
champion. Where do you see that normally, right? So this
Japan.
is New Japan. So this is a breath of fresh air. And yeah, we'll get
Yes.
the match eventually. But yeah, this is a great promo
Oh
by
yeah, yeah.
Mox.
John Moxley's just awesome on the mic. I
Yeah.
love the guy. He's so authentic. Then we get the first of my two favorite moments on tonight's show. We get we see the elite winning their trios championships, but then you see someone erasing the match from the thing, and then they move the match over. That's like the Death Triangle winning the trios belts. and then they erase the Elite from a poster, and then they put the Death Triangle
Triangle.
in the poster, and then you see the AEW logo again, and the E melts away.
Yeah, this is great. I actually thought that when this happened, that oh my god, maybe they're gonna come back tonight. But then I thought to myself, you know what? They probably wouldn't show a promo on the night they return. It'll just be the return, right?
Yes.
So yeah, this was a great pro. This was a great I love how they're doing this because right away I saw Kenny Omega on TV and I was like, what the hell? Oh my god, it's Kenny Omega and it's the match. And then you see Hangman do his finisher,
Yep.
buckshot hits John Silver. They get the Omega gets the pin on John Silver. They win the belt, and then suddenly you hear the click, and someone's
Mm-hmm.
there editing it, and it's just them like just burning away.
Yeah.
And then literally taking they're using basically like Adobe Premiere, and they're taking the video clip out. They're putting the win from the Death Triangle, and I was like, this is cool. This is so cool. And then them just burning away, and
Yeah.
behind them is the Death Triangle, and then it just ends, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they're going after those. They're telling you exactly what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah,
They're going
they're going
directly
after the
after that.
there's no doubt now they're going back after their trios championship, so that's fine. They're
Yeah.
basically just going to do a giant reset, I guess, at this
Oh
point,
yeah.
which I find a little bit, it's not quite as cool as what I thought it might have been last week, right? Like I want to see if they've got a new attitude or a different approach or something like that. I want something a little bit different than how they left. They can't just ignore everything that happened, and I really hope they don't. I mean, it's not like they're going to go out and talk about an investigation or something,
Mhm.
but I really hope that there's a change in their characters, right? That's reflected in how they come back. Um, but yeah, no, I liked this, except right at the end when I realized, oh great, I lied to everyone with my
Yep.
guarantee. I'm like, well, this promo shows there ain't coming back tonight,
Yeah.
boys. So
Yep.
I was
They
like,
ain't
I
coming
guess the
tonight.
big surprise that Brian Alvarez talked about was Jeff
Jeff
Jarrett,
Jarrett.
which
Yeah.
not terrible, but not worthy of like, oh my God. Like that was a Tony Khan level surprise,
It
right?
was.
Yeah.
Definitely was.
Yeah, that was Tony Khan level. Sorry, guys. Well, they come back from commercial and we get John Moxley taking on Lee Moriarty with Stokely. William Regal comes out with Mox in the crowd to help him find the ring, and it doesn't help. He still has trouble finding the ring. Anyway, they go back and forth early. Both got brief advantages filled with strikes, uppercuts, elbows, turnbuckle clotheslines, that kind of stuff. Moriarty gets Mox outside, body slams him on the floor kind of gently, throws him into the steps. Back in the ring, he starts to work Mox's left arm, which we're informed later by Ethan Page on commentary that was the game plan, go after Mox's arm. He slams it, knee drops it, does some twists to it, but Mox ends up reversing with a toss suplex that just looked vicious to Moriarty. Moriarty gets an under and over bridge suplex for two, followed up by some elbow strikes, and tries to stomp Mox's face into a roar of boos from the crowd, but Mox fights to his knees, then to his feet, and stomps Moriarty's head in. Um, Baltimore now totally stopped caring that there was any match in the ring. I mean, you've got the AEW
Oh,
World Champ, but
yes.
some bloody football player comes marching in, and the whole go, "Oh, look, it's one of our football players. There's wrestling on. There's a football player. Oh my God." Anyway, Mox hits a cutter for two. I was not impressed with that at all. I'm like, seriously, guys?
Lamar
One,
Jackson.
this dude had to walk out in the middle of the championship match to sit down. Seriously? Someone couldn't have told him, like, maybe come out between matches. Anyway, Moriarty does a back suplex, but Mox popped up. Mox hits a back suplex. Moriarty popped up. They clearly watched the Tomohiro Ishii and Ren Narita match because this spot was like almost a duplicate of that match. There's a Juji Gatami by Mox. Moriarty reverses it into the Border City stretch, but Mox reverses that, hammer and anvil elbows into the Juji Gatami, and Moriarty taps.
Yeah, no, this was a good match. This is I think this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. This was a good showing, a really good showing from Moriarty. He looked good in the match. He looked really good. Um, Obviously he was never going to win this match against Moxley. Like we knew this immediately. No interference. Like Moxley beat him clean, right? Moriarty fought a clean match as well. It just shows how like if he was in other wrestling promotions, like Moriarty, his skill level is just there. Like he's there skill level. he really can't talk in the mic, and his gimmick or the way he his I guess persona, not the greatest. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it, right? But yeah, no, he's a good wrestler. I'm just glad he got some time to shine here. And yeah, Mox took him down. And it was a good match. Like it was I would say, like, the two matches that went first and second, they were good matches, right? I enjoyed the matches, and then things happened afterwards. And I'm just glad this match didn't have a interference on it. It just was
Right. Yeah. I
good
mean,
finish.
the match. Okay. What did you think of Buddy the football player coming out there in the middle of the
Lamar
match?
Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, I think that most likely he's coming out from backstage, right? Because
Right.
they can go backstage. So Tony Khan, why didn't you just tell them, hey, do you guys mind waiting for a second? And or how about you guys go out now because the match is gonna start,
Yeah.
right? Like I think there was a bit of communication issues there because yeah, you're right. When they started walking by, I was like, who is that? Who are they cheering for there? And then they started saying MVP, and like, MVP the wrestler? Like he's in AEW. And then when they said Lamar Jackson, I'm like, oh, then when Taz kind of said, oh, by the way, the reason everyone's cheering, Lamar Jackson is in the audience. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what's happening here. They're in I totally forgot they're in Baltimore. And obviously Lamar is their biggest commodity right now. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So of course they put out somebody that is going to make the people in the
yeah,
ring seem
it
like
doesn't it
second
doesn't make any
fiddle.
sense. It
It
didn't
was
make any sense.
amateur,
Yeah.
amateur town. Like
Yeah.
you don't do that to your
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
champion. Who the
Exactly.
hell did that?
Who
Like,
authorized that? Exactly.
yeah,
Like, there's
whoever
there.
let this dude
Yeah.
come wandering out in the middle of a world championship eliminator match needs to have some serious. That was amateur town,
Yeah.
utter
Yeah.
amateur town.
And or you know what? Walk them around the other side.
Mm,
There's multiple entrances. That's it.
yes.
I kind of
Yep.
it kind of felt like hey, they let them just go, right? So they're just
Yep.
walking to their seats, right? And I'm like, okay, so you guys messed up on this one. It gets
Yeah.
clear 100% they were backstage.
Yeah.
100% they were
Hmm.
backstage, right? So I don't know who messed up on that one, but yeah, you totally interrupted
Yeah,
the match.
yeah, it threw me off totally. I was like, and but going back to the match, it was a good match. It was
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
Again, not great, but
Yeah,
it was
good.
good. I mean, the first
Hmm.
two matches, I enjoyed them. I'm like, okay, so we're getting some decent wrestling on this show. Nothing over 3 stars,
But
but
yeah,
decent,
yeah.
And again, like there was no interference until we get Ethan Page charging the ring and he takes out Mox, and we're informed that he's part of the AEW Eliminator tournament, that the brackets are not yet filled, but the final match will be taking place at Full Gear in a week and a half. So they have a week and a half to run the entire tournament down to the finals of the tournament.
Yeah. Because they said on Friday night they're gonna
Okay.
announce the remaining entrants,
Yes.
right? So
Sometimes I feel like AEW books on cocaine.
yep.
Yeah.
Remember the whole trios tag team, and we're like, when are they gonna start this
I know.
tournament?
And then
Like
all of a sudden it's like Dynamite, Rampage, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we got a thing.
yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, guys. Okay, so we're doing this again with the Eliminator tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we go to Renee Capet. Renee Capet.
Capet.
Oh, I am just off tonight, guys. Renee Paquette with Saraya and supposed to be Britt Baker, but we get informed that Britt didn't show up, as we will find out later. Saraya says, I'm used to this because I know what it takes to be a star. She doesn't care about anyone but herself. She doesn't care about the women in this division. She doesn't care about like the company. I've wrestled for 17 years. I've wrestled the same day I got hit by a car. She should be lucky she even had this interview. And Renee says to her, okay, so why did you come back now? Why AEW? And Saraya says, something special about AEW. It's a rebel company, the leather jacket biker company. I want to be part of it. The division needs a little help. It's fantastic, but I could give it even more. So then Renee says, medically, where do you stand? And
Mhm.
Saraya says, you know what? I'm going to save this for next week because there's one more doctor I want to consult on this.
Haha, Britt Baker herself, Dr.
Yes, that's
Britt.
exactly what I wrote back.
Um,
I wrote down literally 100% chance she means Britt Baker.
yeah. I see this as Saraya returning. Um, but I kind of feel like it's gonna be in a capacity where you notice how well we'll get to that promo in a second, but like they're kind of promoting tag team matches right now, right? And Tony Storm, well, we know she's not the greatest in the ring, but I'm thinking it's going to be like maybe at the pay-per-view it's going to be Jamie Hayter, but like I'm thinking eventually it's going to be either a tag team of Hayter and Baker versus Saraya and Storm. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen next week? Maybe next week they announce that it's going to be at the pay-per-view Saraya's return. Like who knows, right? It's going to be her versus Britt, but we'll see. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's probably going to be the two of them at the pay-per-view because,
Mm,
you know, she's going to next week, she'll reveal, you're the
that's fair.
doctor I need to consult. I'm totally fine because we didn't see this coming at all. And then that'll be the match.
Yep.
So Tony is backstage with William Regal. And he says, hey, Mox versus MJF, it's happening. And Regal says, well, after what I witnessed last week, it just showed me, dear Max, that you have all the potential in the world, but you have a long way to go to be a true villain. Potential won't help you beat a real demon, John Moxley.
Yeah, and it's funny because during the Mox match, Paige was saying that, yeah, there's no way MJF's gonna win without that ring. He has to use that ring to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, so they're playing this up still. Who knows? Like they're playing this up so much, as in it looks like MJF is a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
That remember, as MJF said, right? The greatest, what was it, trick the devil ever played was making everyone think he didn't exist, right? Yeah. What if MJF paid the what are they called again?
To put him through a
But
table.
hey, you never know. You never
Yeah, I do.
know,
You
right?
read way too much online internet
You
stuff.
never know.
MJF did, if he does, it's dumb.
You never
Dumb.
know. You never
Dumb.
know.
Yeah, but you know, I am starting to worry though. I am really
Okay.
starting to worry that this company has decided sports entertainment is something they truly love. And that is a real sports entertainment style. But ooh, I paid a bunch of guys off to put me through a table, so I had y'all fooled so that I could fool the fans, because I'm certainly not fooling anyone else, but I'm gonna fool the fans. No, it's just dumb. Leave him with his internal struggles. It's a much more convincing storyline, psychologically, internally, right? He really did come out to help Mox, but he doesn't know if he wants to be a villain or not, right? Like he doesn't know if he needs to take shortcuts. He doesn't have confidence in himself. There's the story. You don't need all of this. Well, I paid a bunch of guys off to put me through a table because I felt like feeling like shit for days afterwards because I had to make it convincing to the fans that I'm actually, come on. It's just, it doesn't even make sense. It's not a good story. It's lazy, 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 lazy story writing. And we'll get to more lazy story writing. I am getting tired of lazy story writing in AEW. Guys, hire some real people to book your stories. You can book matches. You're great at
Yeah, the
that.
matches
You're
are good.
great at once in a blue moon getting a story. But if this is the story you write for MJF, you need people to write real stories for you. This is not a story. His internal struggle is a story. You've made that apparent. You can see it in him. You can feel it in his promos. It's what makes them so good. He doesn't need to fake being put through a goddamn table to be a bad guy. Oh, the minute I heard people talking about that this week, it just drove me psycho. I'm like, are you kidding me, people? That's not what's, and if it is what's going on, like I just said, I am like nuts tonight, man. There's so much on this show that bothered me.
I think I
Oh
enjoyed the show a lot more than Bill did.
no,
But
I enjoyed the show. Don't get me wrong. It's still good wrestling. I mean, I had fun. It's just I love pro wrestling so much. This is why I get so worked up, right? Because Jesus, this stuff, man. Anyway, oh, okay. I'm gonna read you my notes verbatim for the next segment.
okay,
Okay.
let's hear it.
Birthday celebration. This is the
Mhm.
recap. Apparently, Billy is fine, except Billy's taped up hands. Max
Yes.
rapped and it was lame. He's slowly becoming babyface Cena. There's no cake. Anthony, tough week for the Acclaim because Swerve, Daddy can't scissor. Scissoring is taking over the world. And then I wrote down, I'm not taking notes for this. A bunch of dumb stuff happens. They push their merch like only DX can at Christmas time. I want to puke. I do not love the Acclaimed. I do not love Daddy Ass. They go to the floor looking for a gift and probably make some little girl's wig. I was actually happy at that because she looked
Yeah.
legitimately ecstatic. Um, I feel like I'm watching WWE. They give him a world's greatest daddy trophy. This is beyond dumb. Stop wasting my time. Crowd chants daddy ass because they also want to waste my time. I'm now going to drink some coffee. They make a DX reference. Ooh, edgy. And then Bowens and Max betray their parents on live television. Rich Caster must be pretty pissed. Of course, the Gun Boys interrupt. They are now awesome because Morrissey ends the party, but FTR decides to lower their stock and help the Young Bucks win Tag Team of the Year by getting involved in this angle.
Yeah,
Okay, that's my recap of the
I
birthday celebration.
I was laughing through this entire thing because I've seen these promos before. They're so stupid, right? They're so dumb. And you're right, the little girl thing where they got the scissors and they gave it to him as his present, right? That was funny. Like the whole we want you, like when they said we want you to be our father, and they said, what did they say? We went to the adoption agency.
They have an
Like,
adoption certificate. They just need his name on it,
I
and
was
he's
like,
adopting them.
I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. And so then when Colton and Austin came out, I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, I was wondering where these guys were going to come out. And then Morrissey jumped in. I was like, oh crap. I'm like, man, Morrissey really does look like a dangerous guy. And whenever he's in the ring, I'm like, this guy, he's playing his role perfectly. Like he doesn't say anything. He just attacks people and kills them. That's it.
So you know what he needs to do?
He
needs to develop Psycho Sid's promo style, where
he
he
could
just
do it.
yells and then whispers.
He could do it because he just looks like he's nuts. And then obviously like it was like when FTR's music hit, I was like, okay, I guess FTR runs out and everyone else jumps out of the ring, kind of thing. And I'm like, so yeah, this segment itself. I was kind of hoping that Swerve was going to interrupt the segment, but he didn't. We'll get a Swerve segment in a bit. But I'm like, this is just weird. I was like, this was just an odd segment. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know what? Watching it, I'm like, wow, the fans really love this. They really are just getting behind this, right? Like, yeah, some parts I thought were funny, but again, another segment, I was like, wow, this is really dragging. How much time did you give them to go out there and just talk, right? Yeah, it was odd. I think that like they want to build up Caster and Bowens, and they've given them a mentor in Billy Gunn, but I'm like, wow, like guys, do they really need, like, you had your celebration for your tag team win. Now you're having a celebration for Billy Gunn's birthday. What's next? Like what's next? It's all it is are these mini, not even mini because they're long. These long celebrations. I'm like, the more you have, the less important any of them feel, right? So I don't know. I was like, okay, like I didn't hate the segment, but I was like, this is just like it's just dragging on and on, and it's like, come on, end, come on, we're done. Let's get back to the wrestling now. So that's how I felt about it.
So when you breathe out carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm.
How much carbon dioxide in the world do you think you just wasted talking about the Acclaimed?
A lot. I wasted a
This
lot talking about
segment
this.
sucked, and I'm not going to talk about it. This was like this was worse than their last segment. It just sucked. It sucked. It sucked from the beginning. It sucked in the middle. It sucked at the end. This sucked. Crowd loved it. That's fine. This was the same crowd that decided to stop cheering John Moxley and start chanting at a football player. So I'm not real thrilled with you either right now, Baltimore. You love the Acclaimed, but you didn't love John Moxley enough to pay attention to his damn match and cheer for a bloody football player who just happened to be walking in the stadium. Anyway. Okay. MVP. On to the next segment. Okay. We have Britt Baker backstage with Jamie Hayter and Tony Schiavone. And Britt Baker is wearing an awesome shirt, black and white buffalo plaid. I'm like, that's the shirt of the night right there, because it's something that you would find in my closet. Anyway, she says that she has her interview with people who are on her team, in her time, in her world. She's been a victim of a conspiracy too long, and she's not showing up to Renee and Soraya's party. Jamie says, look, I just want to wrestle. And Britt goes, I also just want to wrestle. And at this point, I'm like, thank you, Lord. There are two people on the show who actually want to wrestle. Like, what happened in the last 20 minutes in this show? Nobody wanted to wrestle. They wanted to do sports entertainment. So they go find us a tag team on Rampage, yours truly, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And I'm just like, you saved it. This is why I love AEW. You two right here. You two who just want to wrestle. Thank you.
Yeah, I this segment, like I love the fact that she gets like Tony Schiavone is still her interviewer, so like she gets him to do all her interviews, and the fact that when she says DMG, she looks always to make sure he's doing it as well.
Yep.
So friggin' hilarious. Yeah, no, like Britt, like the whole thing about Saraya is like, oh, this AEW women's division needed help, and I'm here. No, there are people here before you that were good and better. So, and Britt's one of them. So I can't wait to see them actually fight, because I think Britt's gonna show her up. To be honest with you, I think there's so much time since she's wrestled, right? So, if people start pointing fingers at Britt for this one, we'll see. But again, Britt's awesome.
Well, AEW has 21 women on the PWI top 150.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, and nowhere on that list is Saraya.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, yeah, I like this promo. Then we get Jericho. Jericho's music hits, and I'm thinking to myself, after that segment I just watched too before Britt, I'm like, Jericho's music is awesome. Why do I get on anyone's case for singing this awesome song?
His music
When
is awesome.
I have other things I can get on their case about that is not singing this awesome song. So, therefore I'm okay. Jericho, you're forgiven. Your song's great. Jericho, he says, so last week after that jackass Claudio took a tainted victory over the Ocho. See, that's real comedy, people. Jericho, you guys could all learn something from him. It made me mad. And now I'm ready for an open challenge night against any former Ring of Honor champion. Any champion. I don't care. I'll even whip Lamar Jackson's ass. And I thought, please do. So tonight will be another monumental night in the Ring of Jericho era. All honor the Ocho. So who's it going to be? And Colt Cabana's music hits. And I was like legit smiling like crazy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
same.
this is an awesome moment right now. Colt Cabana comes out, and I'm just going to stop a moment and ask you, how did you react when the reveal was Colt Cabana?
When I heard the boom boom, I was like, no way, Colt Cabana is out. And I just thought, I started smiling because I was like, maybe unintentional, but this was a big fu to someone, right? It's like, you notice who started coming back since things have happened. Stu Grayson's back. Remember we said, what if the Dark Order gets back together, all the members? And look who came back. Colt Cabana. And when he walked out, just the look on his face, like I still from all the information that's been released, like I still feel bad for this guy, because as you see him walking down the ring, there are some people still booing, right? Hey, there's always going to be some people like that, but the majority of the fans stood up and actually started.
You got a huge welcome back chant.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I was happy just when I heard the music. I was like, no way, Colt Cabana. All right.
So good on you, Baltimore. You chanted welcome back to Colt Cabana. For that, you get an official kudos from me. Good job. You're now 1 and 2 on the night for great reactions. So no, but I saw Colt Cabana come out too, and I didn't take it as a huge FU to anybody. I took it as this. This was Jericho sending out a statement that was like, I'm going to wrestle Colt Cabana because our locker room is completely healed.
Yeah, we're fine. We're good.
100% fine. Colt Cabana's out here taking me on for the ROH title. So, I don't think there's a bigger statement you could say that's like, guys, we're good. So can we stop? Yep. So that's how I took that. Anyway, we had Jericho out there with Garcia and Hager versus Colt Cabana. Like I said, huge welcome back chant. The Code of Honor was accepted, but Cabana was pretty aggressive about it. They do note Cabana has never won the ROH World title. Cabana opens really on fire, taking it to Jericho until Jericho bails to the outside, but Colt catches Jericho on the top rope. He goes for a Chicago skyline at this point from the top, but Jericho tries to escape. They tumble off to the floor. Jericho hits a springboard apron drop kick, leaving Colt on the floor while Hager does push-ups. Garcia applauds at Hager, and Jericho gives the crowd the fingers. This was great. Back in the ring, Colt takes a back suplex, eventually gets to his feet, drops Jericho with the flying apple, multiple chops, and a second rope splash for 2. Colt gets caught on the turnbuckle. Gets put on Jericho's shoulders, but counters into a victory roll for 2. Colt reverses a Walls attempt into an inside cradle for 2. Jericho misses the Judas effect completely and gets the Colt gets the Billy Goat curse, which is essentially a reverse Walls on
Yeah.
Jericho.
Yeah.
Walls breaks out. Jericho breaks out, but but Colt gets the Superman pin on him. That looked great. Hager though broke it up behind the ref's back, super close near fall. Moonsault took out the Jericho Appreciation Society, but Jericho gets Colt with a code breaker when he bounces off the ropes for the 3 counts. What'd you think of the match?
Yeah. So the match itself, like again, surprised that Colt came out. The match was pretty good. It's Jericho, like it was just taking a beating for the most part from Colt Cabana the entire time, right? Until he kind of tried to wiggle out. When they tumbled, I'm like, oh my god, did they mess up here? Like it looked like a mess up, but yeah, they were saying that they tumbled out, whatever. I did like the fact that Colt Cabana did that wicked moonsaults off of the rope. I was like, holy crap, I've never seen him do that. So you're right, he did his Colt Cabana moves, like the Superman pin and everything like that. One thing I appreciate about this match is that Jericho won with the code breaker. Because he's done the code breaker multiple times in other matches and he never wins with it. I'm like, wait, but this was his finishing move for a long time. Why doesn't he win with this stuff, right? So I actually did appreciate the fact hits him with the code breaker, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. You know what? I think this was a good showing for Colt Cabana. He's back. Again, awesome, good on Jericho for doing this kind of stuff. Like any champion, right? And yeah, it just continues the whole Ring of Dishonor kind of thing, right? He's just taking everyone out. But no, I'm just happy to see Colt Cabana back. And I never thought I would say that because again, I'm not a big Colt Cabana fan. Like it's not like I love Colt Cabana. I just liked him with the Dark Order, like give him something to do, right?
Yep.
And the fact that after AEW lost Brody Lee, I was like, oh, well, these guys are set because like they're just carrying on Brody Lee's honor, and then suddenly they just started disappearing like the Elite. And I just didn't know what was going on, and then Dark Order became like, hey, the Dark Order who was originally Uno and Grayson became Uno and the Reynolds and Silver. And that was it. I was like, this is so weird, right? They lost Anna Jay and everything.
Yep.
So now that they're all kind of back together, I'm actually happy for this. I'm happy to see this happening. But overall, it was a good match. Interesting stuff happened afterward. But what did you think?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a solid match too. I enjoyed it. It was Colt Cabana got a lot of good moves in. It was an entertaining. I didn't think Colt Cabana I didn't think he stood a chance in heck of winning the match, which of course always takes a bit out of it. But hey, solid showing, fun match. You knew Jericho was going to win, and I also liked what you said too, because I agree with you. The code breaker, it was good that he won with that, right? Guys should win with multiple moves, right? Because it makes multiple moves threats. I mean, Danielson does that all the time, right? He's always winning with something different, right? And it makes them a threat. So that way, if you keep showing that once in a while Jericho wins with that code breaker every time he hits it in a match, you never know.
You never know.
But if everyone always kicks out of it at 2, then it's just a joke spot.
Yeah, agreed.
So you got to make these moves so that guys can win with things that aren't just their finisher. Otherwise, you train your audience. The only thing they care about people hitting is the finisher. Everything else is a kick out at 2.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, no, that was a good point. Glad Colt Cabana's back too. I'd also like to see him back in the Dark Order, but even if he's not, I'm just glad he's getting some TV time. I'm glad he's kind of doing like he did Dynamite.
He can do anything. So yeah,
exactly. It was great. After the match, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker grab Ian Riccaboni at the commentary table, and Jericho's going to hit him until Claudio comes out and attacks Jericho. They all pile on Claudio. Danielson comes out to help, but Sammy shows up, and then Yuta Wheeler shows up, and we got the BCC versus Jericho Appreciation Society again, except Mox is too busy being the world champion to come out and help his guys, but that's fine.
I love the audience. Let them fight, and then Taz is like, "Yeah, let them fight."
Exactly.
Maybe Shivani was saying that. I was with them. I was like, "Yeah, let them fight each other. Come on, stop bringing it up."
Precisely. Yeah, it would have been great. And I mean, at some point, obviously, we're gonna get some big, Blackpool Combat
probably
Club
at the pay-per-view is what I'm thinking.
You
right?
think? Because I think Jericho's got to defend his belt, doesn't he? Or you think they're just gonna save his belt defenses for Ring of Honor TV?
But isn't there a Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming up?
There is in December.
So maybe that's where he defends the belt as a singles competitor
Yeah,
at the
I
event.
guess. I guess we'll see. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, they got to do something at the pay-per-view with these
yeah,
guys. So,
yeah. If you want
yep.
them all there, yeah, you got to
Yep.
do something big.
So then we go to the back. We've got Renee, who's, the mean gene of AEW, backstage with the Death Triangle, and she's like, you have a, and she turns to Ray and she's like, you have a match tonight for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. They ask him the tough question, the hard hitting. How do you feel? And Ray says, I feel great and ready. I'm going to be the new All-Atlantic champ at double champion. And Pat goes, if I can interject, speaking as a former double champion, if you want real revenge for the Death Triangle, I'm telling you, the hammer. If you're smart about it, my friend, this tonight, and he's holding up a hammer. He's carrying around a ring bell hammer. This tonight can be your golden ticket. But hey, the choice is yours, my friend. Just something to think about. I love later how Tony calls it out. He's like, he was right there in front of the cameras, telling him to cheat. Oh, it was so good. I love Pac so much. It's like he doesn't give a damn. The camera's rolling. He's just like, here's a hammer. Go use it
Go
on
use
him.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
but
the
then we
best.
find out later that it was a no DQ match, which they never said it was
Yeah.
until during the match.
Yeah, exactly. And since when did every triple threat become a weapons-based no DQ match?
I
I just
don't
thought
know.
it meant that, yeah, anyway, like it was interesting that this was suddenly a triple threat no DQ match conveniently. Because we've had tons of triple threats where people aren't like smashing each other with
Mhm.
chairs or beating each other with hammers, and people are like, oh, it's no DQ, so whatever can happen, right? Like, I don't know.
Agreed.
Oh, that always bothers me. But yeah, I love this because, I have said in the past, there is no problem that a common hammer can't solve. So tonight,
Maybe too soon, Bill. Didn't you hear that Nancy Pelosi's husband got attacked with a hammer? Too soon, Bill. Too
who?
soon. The Nancy Pelosi from the U.S. Her isn't she a congresswoman or something like that?
I have
Her
no
husband got
idea.
there was a break in. Her husband this week got attacked by a hammer by like literally someone
Oh,
attacked him by a
well,
hammer. Too soon,
I, I, I,
Bill.
I
Too
don't read
soon.
the news
Oh, oh no.
and I don't sit on social media. I live in my own little bubble.
This explains a lot.
It does explain a lot, doesn't it?
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this promo was good. I mean, Pac is just hilarious. Every time, like he's always so serious about everything, and I
Hmm.
love the fact he's like, if I may, right? He
Yes.
starts talking about the hammer. Use this because
Hmm.
he's the so far the only double champion AEW's
Yep.
had. So let's be real. He's won this
Yeah.
belt, and he's had two
Yeah.
championships. So
I know how
this
to
is
win two
funny.
belts. Here's a hammer.
I think the funny
It's-
part is like whenever the Lucha Brothers speak, not in their native tongue, they sound like just these two regular guys talking.
I know. It's
Even
like, well, that's what I mean.
because
Ray's like, I feel great
yeah,
and
yeah,
ready.
and then Penta was like, "We will discuss this." And
Yes.
he wants to walk away.
I know. It's like, oh, yeah, it was
Oh,
pretty great. So we go to Luchasaurus taking on Ray Fenix, taking on Orange Cassidy for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. And Orange Cassidy and Ray immediately agree at the beginning to go after Luchasaurus.
hmm
They eventually get him out with a double drop kick, and then you get Orange Cassidy facing off with Ray. He goes for the soft kicks, but then Ray does lucha things until Orange Cassidy counters into a spinning, and I mean spinning DDT
Yep.
for two. Luchasaurus takes them both down, though, tosses Ray into the turnbuckles. Did you notice that Ray actually went halfway to the ring post?
Yeah, no, so because the camera, it was there, seeing him run into it, and he just kind of jumped, but he didn't
Mm-hmm.
go far enough to hit the ring post. He
Yeah,
kind of just
exactly. He just
bounced on
kind of
it.
slid into the turnbuckles. Yeah. He suplexed Orange Cassidy, double clothesline to them, and then he just dominates them both for a long time.
Yeah,
Until finally Orange Cassidy uses a stun dog millionaire, and then Ray thrusts kick Orange Cassidy
kicks
in
him.
the
Yeah,
stun dog millionaire. When Orange Cassidy comes back with the orange punch to Luchasaurus, knocking him out of the ring, they try stereo topes to him, but Luchasaurus catches them, throws Orange Cassidy into steps, choke slams Ray through a table. Luchasaurus drags up, essentially shoves, drags, punches Orange Cassidy up onto the ramp. He catches an orange pump on the ramp in his hand and then headbutts Orange. But then Jungle Boy Jack Perry appears in the back, smashes Luchasaurus with a chair, does this wildly fast running cross body off the stage. Like he must have been moving 100 miles an hour. He
Yeah.
smashes into Luchasaurus. They both go careening off the stage through a table. It was one of the coolest table smashes I've seen in a very long time. The speed that Jack Perry had when he went off that stage was nuts. Anyway, Orange Cassidy and Ray make it back to the ring. Pac comes down. Every time I see him with the hammer, I laugh. Pac comes down. He gives Ray a hammer, but Ray throws it away. So he does a thrust kick, but Orange Cassidy does an orange punch to a flying Ray,
Yeah.
and he gets the 3. Should have used the hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I said this was gonna be my match of the night, and this match was fun from the beginning till the end. I enjoyed myself with this match. I knew what I was gonna get. I like Ray Fenix is one of the craziest guys I see all the time, and he takes some of the worst bumps I've ever seen in my life. Like we're talking about bumps again here. I talked about the shots to Darby Allin earlier. You know, I now understand why whenever there's a table smash, they clear the table.
Mm-hmm.
I watched as Ray Phoenix got chokeslammed onto the water bottle that was pointed upwards and the belt, and I was like, ah. and then the running tackle by Jungle Boy. Yes, that was a cool table spot. Did you see how close that edge of the table came to his head when he smashed down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it broke and the edge shot up, and you see his hair just on the side. I'm like, oh no. And you see him roll out a little bit with his head. Again, hopefully it was fine, but I'm like, oh my god, that's such a cool spot, but that could have gone so wrong at
Yeah,
the same time.
you could see him talking about it too when he got up, right? Like he was
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
something, and he just
Something,
had this
yeah,
look, but he was kind of laughing at the same
yeah.
time, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, he
because it
was
was a good thing he
100%
missed it.
fine.
He missed it,
Yeah.
and then he kind of saluted the fans. But yeah, that when Ray tries to jump at Cassidy, and
Yep.
Cassidy punches him in the air, connects with the
Yep.
punch. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this guy. Like they say that Ray Phoenix is very stiff as a
Mm-hmm.
wrestler, but this guy takes some shots.
Oh
Holy
yeah,
crap.
no, he's all around great, right? I
Yeah,
mean, look, you want stiff. Some of the guys in New Japan are some of the stiffest guys you're going to
yeah,
work with, right? That's
yeah.
what some of these like stronger and more emphatic wrestlers are about. It makes it look more real. And if
Real.
you're in the
Yeah,
ring with someone else who can take it and give it, you're going to have a very good looking match,
yeah.
right? I mean, wrestling may be scripted, but these guys work their
They hit
asses
each other
off
for
as a
real.
match like this shows,
Yeah,
right? I mean, this was good. Luchasaurus slowed it down for
he
me. There's
did.
that
He did.
very long spot in the middle where he had control and it wasn't very fast. And it was just like, and I have Orange Cassidy and Ray Phoenix in the ring. I'm more like you. I want to see some lucha things, right?
Yep,
Like I want these guys to go. Luchasaurus kind of slowed them down. So it
he did.
wasn't, this is not what I would call like a 4-star or 5-star
No.
classic, 3.5. Not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad,
yeah.
guys. Good
Agreed.
effort. And I'm gonna have to give it my match of the
Yeah.
night, even though it's only 3.5 stars,
Even time.
guys.
Yeah,
3.5
yeah.
stars, but not my match
Best
of the
match
night.
on the night,
Yeah,
basically.
best match of a bunch of 3 and lower star
Yeah,
matches. So
yeah.
yeah,
True.
yeah. Anyway, Pac though gets in the ring and he assaults Orange Cassidy and he asks for the did you catch the fucking hammer? Give me the fucking hammer. And
Oh
it
yes,
actually
yes,
gets
yes.
picked
Yeah.
up on the anyway. But then music hits and it's Katsuyori Shibata.
And when the music hit, I was like, oh, I've heard this music before, but where have I heard this music before? And then they explain it.
Right. One of the new group of Three Musketeers in the late 90s, early 2000s in New Japan, along with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Shinsuke Nakamura, the three of them who turned New Japan around in the early part of
Okay.
the 2000s. Shibata playing more the heel role to the superstar and the technician with Tanahashi and Nakamura. And he is also currently the trainer at the LA Dojo.
Oh.
And the one who trained Ren Narita, who is being called like the newest incarnation of Shibata, right? The son
Interesting.
of strong style. So this is who we're getting now. And he gets into the ring, helps out Orange Cassidy. but then signs the contract for the match for Rampage, and we're getting Katsuyori Shibata taking on Orange Cassidy, and what I can only imagine is going to be hilarious.
Yep.
We have Mr. Super Serious Strong Style taking on Orange Cassidy, and it's going to be great.
The guy
But
who walks in the ring with the belt in his backpack. Like,
yes, but you know what I've realized watching a lot more Japanese wrestling? These guys know how to do comedy matches really, really well.
okay, so then probably gonna be a good match on Friday then.
Yes. You know, I've watched some matches recently in New Japan that have taught me that even some of the guys who seem super serious in the ring, man, they can do some funny stuff. So I'm hopeful that this will be a very good Orange Cassidy match, but will also be a strong test for him against a guy that strong. So anyway, well, then we get Tony in the back with Swerve and Rick Ross, who's clearly Swerve's friend, rapper, DJ guy or something.
Yes.
And yeah, Tony says to Swerve, "Why did you do that to why, Swerve? Why did you do that to Daddy Ass?" And he says, "Because they suck and I want them off my show." No, I'm sorry, he doesn't say that. Rick Ross says they're here for one reason only, making sure that he's not only the biggest wrestler, but the largest recording artist in the world. Positivity only. So Keith Lee comes in and tells Swerve, "You aren't responding to my texts." Lee says, "Yeah, but we're the number one contender." And then Lee says, "And we're the number one contenders, but you cheated." And
Yeah,
Swerve
no.
says, "Yeah." Swerve goes, "Yeah, but next week we have an 8-man tag, us and the Guns versus Acclaimed and FTR." And Rick Ross says, "We're brothers. Let's toast." That was your segment.
I love like when Lee is like, and by the way, who was filming that? Because you were on the camera, right? So they kind of like ignored it, like they kind of implied that I guess it was Rick Ross. Um again, Rick Ross, like I mean, like AEW really is like just going back to like the early 2000s, late 90s, and just pulling people onto
Why?
their
Who's
show
Rick
apparently.
Ross? I've never heard of the guy before tonight.
That's yeah, no, he's a basically like a rapper, producer, I guess. That's but I mean like from the 2000s, like
I,
not
I'm
this is
al-
not
I'm always marveled at your knowledge of 2000s rappers and hip hop. I never knew,
I
Krishna.
I yeah, I just I saw him and I was kind of like when he was like is Swerve going to be a recording artist now? I'm so confused. Like I was just not understanding. Um but yeah, I mean it's going down to like I want a bad Keith Lee. I don't care for this. Oh my God, Swerve, you're cheating. Who cares? Right? Like Swerve is the best part of your group right now. Let's be real here, right? So like Keith, I guess you want to have a feud with Swerve. Is that what we're going down? Or Swerve versus Keith? Like,
No, here's what we need. You know what we really need? We need the Lucha Brothers to have a conversation with Swerve. And the Lucha Brothers are like, "Hey, we really like Keith Lee, but we realize he's not jiving with you. Why don't we trade you Pac for Keith
for
Lee?" And
Keith
then we
Lee.
get Swerve and Pac in a
Ooh,
tag team
oh my
where they've got
goodness.
the Hammer and Swerve being all sneaky and stuff. And they would be the greatest tag team nearly of all time, only a 1B to the Young Bucks.
Yep. Yep. No, I think that would be awesome. I think that
Yep.
would be awesome.
That would be my favorite tag team. Pac with the Hammer and Swerve.
Or just go heel, Keith Lee. What the hell's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah, that would be
geez.
pretty great too. But I don't know, man. There's just something about Pac with the Hammer with Swerve that I would really love to see. Do it, Tony. Do it. Well, next up we have Marina Shafir versus Jade Cargill. Remember, I was saying for the show, I really hope these two can one day put on a match where I'm like, man, that was an amazing wrestling match. To quote Aragorn, today was not that day. That was not a direct quote, but you know what I'm trying to say. The match starts. Nyla Rose's music hits. She comes out to do commentary from the stage with a mic, doing her best to distract Jade. Tony says, when this is happening, this is brutal. Tony, you could not have been more correct. This was brutal. Meanwhile, they brawl outside the ring, but I have to say, Jade Cargill, she looks like a the resistance to the distraction, because most time wrestlers hear music, wrestlers see someone on the stage like, oh my
Yeah,
god, I have no idea. They're like the Baltimore crowd the minute one of the Ravens walks out into the thing. They're just like, oh my god, it's a Raven. Oh my god. That's wrestlers when they hear like a second of their opponent's theme music most of the time. But man, Jade Cargill, props to Jade Cargill.
she wrestled her. Yeah.
She resisted this distraction. She was beating down Marina Shafir until she got back in the ring and thought she had it well in hand. And then she went charging up that ramp towards Nyla. And Nyla's like, you're getting counted out. And she ran back down. She actually got back in the ring, though. And then, pump kick, jaded for 3. Kira Hogan tried to steal the title back and fails.
Yep.
Jade comes up to her on the ramp. This is what I'm assuming Jade said to her as she stood over her while Kira's lying on the ground. She said, you had one job.
Exactly. You had one job. You had one job. Like this entire thing is just dumb. I mean, like the whole I laugh sometimes that when like Nyla Rose with the belt it's funny, but she didn't win it. It's just so stupid, right? Just like when Renee had asked her like, Nyla, you're not the champion. Like, she's like, but aren't I? Aren't I? I couldn't stop laughing at that, right?
Yeah.
So like that was funny, but I mean like overall, like I like when Vicky Guerrero's voice hit, I'm like, oh no, it's I hate it. But yeah, obviously these two are gonna fight at the pay-per-view. Can't get there soon enough. Marina Shafir, like this is the outcome that should have been, like just get beaten down because she can't wrestle. So hey, at least the cameras are away from the match for periods of time, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad I got this women's match on tonight's show instead of like 2 women who could actually put on a wrestling match. I'm so happy that this is what we got tonight
well,
from
remember we said
AEW.
Jade hasn't actually fought in a while, and we're like, what the heck? She's not like it's funny that Jade and what's her face? Tony Storm are the champions, and they barely wrestle, right? So I
Yeah,
don't
careful what
understand.
you wish for.
Well, no, I don't really wish for any of it, but hey, they're the champions. They should be defending their titles, right? This match is exactly what thought it was going to be, and like it was in the 9:30 death spot. So I wasn't really like nothing shocked me. Nothing. So remember,
Yeah.
I said I'm expecting the worst. If I get anything better, I'll be okay. And this was at best not the worst match I've seen in my life, but it wasn't very good,
Yeah,
right?
that's good, man. That's that, I'll give it that too. Not the worst match I've seen in my life. There's your praise, guys.
Yeah,
Not the worst
not the
match I've
worst.
seen in my life. Yeah, Nyla Rose at least was somewhat amusing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that she sent her back to the ring. You're getting counted out,
You're gonna count it
FYI.
out.
That was pretty great. That was my favorite moment of the entire match. It's like, okay, you're charging me, but you're getting counted. The ref's counting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and Taz is like, I don't think we're gonna lose our jobs over this. So
Yeah, no, that was pretty, and of course Tony calling it brutal, which I
Mhm.
just agreed it was pretty brutal. Yeah, remember when we used to get Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb? Do you remember those days?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember those days too. Yeah. But then we were saved because we went to yet another video segment and we get a voiceover with we see Julia Hart in like her witch's hat, black robes, surrounded by other people in black robes, and you get all these shots of various members of the House of Black. What has become of us? What have you all done? And it shows them dead, and Julia Hart's putting like
Mhm.
talismans in their hands and stuff, right? Have you all abandoned your faith this quickly? You have us burning at the stake so soon, clinging like children to this new world, afraid to abandon it. Now come the ways of old. Now comes the worship of death. All must end so that all must suffer anew. And then you hear Malachi Black's voice, Father of the black light, giver of the sight that takes. Forget me not, Father. See me now, Mother. And then someone bursts from the water, and I'm just like, this was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, kind of this was as you saw, like one of them was buried, the other one was cremated, the other one was like put into the water.
Yep.
And you're right, they're being reborn, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is so cool. Like I think like the House of Black, this is such a cool way of bringing them back, right? Again, as I said, I'm just happy to like see Malachi Black, Malachi Black, Malachi back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, though this was such a cool little vignette. Like I said, the two vignettes they showed tonight were like the coolest coolest promos they had. Um, and it makes you excited because now you're like, we've got two awesome factions returning.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. Right. And then you think about it, you're like, oh, wait, didn't Miro take out Malachi Black for his last match? Where's Miro been, Bill? Where's
Couldn't care
Miro
less.
been?
Couldn't care less.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
So
When Miro learns to actually wrestle better, call me up because
yeah,
he is legitimately the Bray Wyatt of AEW. Wonderful promos, very cool shtick. He gets in the ring and I fall asleep.
yeah, agreed. That's why I'm so happy the House of Black is back. I'm just curious, like when are they coming back, right? What are they gonna do? I listen,
Yes.
put championships on all three of them. Give Julia Hart the women's championship.
Well,
I'm down for them to carry everything.
okay, fine. So the Elite beats Death Triangle at the pay-per-view for the Trios Championships, and the House of Black beats the shit out of them after the match.
I'm down with that.
I am totally down with
I'm
that. I would
but
be
I
all over House of
oh
Black versus the Elite. It would be
man,
so good.
it would be so good, but it's kind of like I can't have my two trios favorite people going at it like that. But given, I mean, the black, I mean, the Death Triangle are also there, so it's three of them. Man, that would be so cool. Because then, yeah, this is why I didn't really want the Elite to go after the trios championships. I can care less about that for them. Have the Bucks take back the tag championship, have Kenny take back the world championship, and give the trios championship to the House of Black, and then everything in the world will be perfect once again, right?
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, like I'm just curious now, and yeah, you know what? I'm just happy. I'm so happy that House of Black is back that I would love to see a feud with them. Hey, even if House of Black beats the Elite, I won't
Yep.
be upset. I won't be upset about that,
No, no,
right?
I know it. Look, this was without a doubt my favorite segment
It's
on
so
tonight's show,
cool.
hands out. This was the only thing Omega level. Well, I
It
mean,
was
it's hard not to call something with Kenny Omega in it the Omega
not a
level.
mega
So,
level. Yeah,
so there were two Omega level things on this show:
yeah,
the Elite
yeah.
TV spot and the House of Black spot.
So cool. So
Yes.
cool.
Well, we go backstage, and Tony Storm has a little video segment going on, and she just says it's a little breakdown for the Tony and Jamie because we get announced Tony Storm will be facing Jamie Hayter for the women's title, interim women's title, at Full Gear. And Tony says, Jamie and I lived together during the pandemic. We were like sisters, but when I came to AEW, Jamie had a different attitude. It was clear she was Britt's friend now. And Jamie said, I was always like this. Maybe she just didn't notice. Why is this the first time we're hearing about this?
That they were friends.
Yeah, why is this the first time we're hearing that this was like a tension thing, that this had been going on? Why didn't we have vignettes about this for like months, building this up to the point where we had Jamie Hayter taking on Tony Storm? And at this point, you had the whole story: Tony coming back, Jamie ignoring her, Jamie brushing her off for Britt, Jamie just saying, hey, listen, I've always been like this. You could come along with us too. Come hang out, whatever, right? You could have had this story built up for ages. No, week and a half before the pay-per-view, now that we've
Mhm.
decided they're going to have a match, now we're going to drop this because now this is the story. This hasn't
Yeah,
been the story for months, but now this is the story. AW, please do some storytelling, like real storytelling. I'm glad you're trying to give the match a story. That's at least better than just dropping it on us cold. But why didn't we hear about this sooner? The whole pandemic, we lived together. And
yeah.
this is the first time we're hearing this. You guys have been feuding for months. Anyway, what did you think of this segment?
Again, it's one of those things where I can see them trying to play catch up now. They're trying to be like, okay, we got to build this because they're going to fight each other. Yeah, it's kind of like when she said, I was like, oh, you live together? Oh, great that no one mentions this ever. Sure, but this is just again, this is AEW not paying attention to the women's division, and this is what happens. You're playing catch up, right? So yeah, I get what they're trying to do, but yeah, you could have done it better. And now you're doing it like this. So, you've got a few weeks till the pay-per-view.
You have a
So
week and a half.
is it a week and a half only? Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, you're right. So
Next
yeah,
week is the go home show.
yeah. So then November the 19th, right?
Yeah,
Is that the pay-per-view? Yeah, so
it's
two.
the Saturday.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so then, it's good luck, I guess. Like you have, I guess, a couple shows to try to build it, but I don't know how you're going to do it in a couple shows, right? They don't even give these guys mics to talk in.
No,
So
and you've also got apparently you got Saraya and Britt Baker to build up too.
exactly in 2 weeks.
Right. And Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
probably also going to be on the pay-per-view. So you've got 3 women's matches in a period where they give them almost no time whatsoever on any Dynamite or Rampage.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Mm-hmm. That's good times. Okay, good job, AEW. Thank you for continued awesome storytelling. Samoa Joe, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate tonight's show. It was just okay.
Yeah. Mid.
Because we end with Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the ROH TV title. And this one opens with lots of strikes and chops by both of them. Joe then gets his Inzaguri in the corner, snapmare elbow drop for 2. There's a distraction by Prince Nana that puts Cage back in it with a drop kick. Very nice looking drop kick. He beats on Joe, including a belly to back suplex. There were some long submission spots in this. There was a very long half camel clutch, a very long rear naked choke spot, both by Brian Cage on Samoa Joe. It picks up again when Cage does a tope con hero to Samoa Joe outside. Cage spends a lot of time posing in this match too, which tends to slow it down a little. Joe with a Manhattan drop and a senton for 2. He does this power slam like Dustin Rhodes, that quick spin around power slam for 2. Tiger feint kick by Cage. That's the 619. Top rope elbow drop for 2. Cage with his GMSI, which is a sit out pump handle face buster for 2. Which I really like that move. It just looks like it killed Samoa Joe. He discus lariat for 2, but then Joe reverses Cage into the coquina clutch, and Cage submits.
Yeah, it's weird that like the submission, right? Like it just
Mm-hmm.
came out of nowhere. But hey, again, it makes sense. Like this is how Joe wins matches. So well, muscle buster and stuff like that. I once again, this like we have to remember Brian Cage was away for like a year or more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not wrestling AEW. You look at this guy wrestle, and they do mention it. They're like, this he moves like he's a smaller athlete,
Yes.
right? He's so good. I don't
Yes.
understand. I don't get it. He's so good with his size, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. It makes you look at people like Wardlow and these guys, and you're like, you do some moves, but you're not a Brian Cage. You're not the
Yep.
machine,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, no, I enjoyed this match. Yeah, it had a bit of interference here and there. But I'm like, no, I like the fact that Brian Cage was pretty dominant in this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just again not my favorite match of the night. Obviously, I already called it. It was a decent match. It did its
Mm-hmm.
job, but it really, again, once again, it just proves to me that Brian Cage is a phenomenal wrestler that they need to let wrestle more. And it seems like they are letting him wrestle more, but maybe against some other opponents. Like his showing against Samoa Joe, it's okay. It was okay, right?
Yeah.
But like he's a good wrestler, so like I'm just happy to see him here. Really odd this was the way we close up the night,
Yeah.
right? Like this is the match you close up the night with. So whatever. But I mean, he has very odd dynamite.
Yeah, it was, and this match to me too. Like this fell into the 3 stars. Okay, nothing to write home about. Maybe 2.5 because of the long slow spots in the middle during the commercial break. I mean, my God, did they leave those submission holds on for a long
Yep.
time? But yeah, no, I didn't love this match. I didn't hate this match. His match against Wardlow, way better, way better.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Yep, this match was kind of slow, kind of there. I mean, Joe's slowed down a bit. He's probably getting older too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't seem as fast as he used to be. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I don't have much more to say than that. It was okay, and you knew that Samoa Joe was probably going to win this match. Of course, then the embassy jumps Joe, and Wardlow comes out. Wardlow's been into the spray tan pretty obviously. And then Hobbs comes out and power bombs Wardlow or Spinebusters Wardlow down and holds up the TNT title. So that's probably another match we're going to get for Full Gear.
I kind of want Hobbs to win that match
Yeah, me too.
because he looks dominant. I'm like, yo, why not?
And
Like
by
we
the
said,
reaction of the crowd, I kind of think they want Hobbs to win that match too.
right? When he jumped into the ring and he just did the power slam. No, what was it? The
Spinebuster.
spine buster. Yeah, to Wardlow. I was like, yeah, I want you because you know what? I want him to win. And then I want him to have a feud with Ricky Starks again, and I want Ricky Starks to get that belt. That's what I want.
Yes, what happened to Ricky Starks?
He wrestled on Dark the other night, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he wrestled on Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, a pretty good match too. So yeah, no, I think this is I'm happy to see Hobbs back because I was like, where'd Hobbs go?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy to see him back and beating up someone like
Yeah, I'm happy to see Hobbs back too, and I'd like to see him get the title. And this just goes to show you how cold Wardlow has become compared to where he was at after the MJF feud.
Yep.
The
Yep.
dude
Agreed.
is now made out of refrigerator ice. Anyway, well, that was AEW Dynamite. You can tell I had a great time watching parts of this one.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, it is time for our one phrase to summarize the evening. Krishna?
I'm going to say a quote from someone,
Mm-hmm.
and this is dedicated to all the quote unquote fans who went online and said Malachi was done. He wanted to go back to WWE. He was sick and tired of AEW, which hey, some things could have been true. But this is a quote I just now seeing Malachi back. This is a quote to everyone, to all those haters out there. And the quote is, and then you're gonna look me in the eyes and you're gonna say, I'm sorry, Mr. Black. That's it.
Love it. Love it. Very good. Couldn't agree more. That was an Omega level segment tonight. So
Yeah.
yep. My phrase to summarize the evening is there is no problem that cannot be solved with a ring hammer.
He's so good.
He really
And
is.
we almost didn't have Pac on TV for almost a year as well
I
with the
know.
pandemic. Like this is what we missed. This is what we missed.
Oh,
He's
Pac
so
and Orange
good.
Cassidy. I know. Like that man. I love you, Pac. I love you. You're so
He's
awesome.
just so good.
Yep.
So good.
Okay. Well, that was Dynamite. Do you think there was anything else that was Omega level beyond those
No,
two
no, no, no,
segments?
no, no.
Yeah,
There,
okay. I just
listen,
wanted to confirm.
today, yeah, this week's Dynamite was okay. It wasn't. It was as the person who wasn't there, MJF, as he'd normally say, it was mid,
It was
right?
mid. This was a
So
totally mid
yeah,
Dynamite.
so it was mid. Like nothing. Like yeah, you know, you hyped me. You're like, yeah. What if
I
the
know.
what if the elite come out? And I said, nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fall
Yep.
for it. So
Yep.
good thing I
Mid.
did not.
But speaking of the elite, it is time to go. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.